Good morning. State of the School, SOS, 38th video in the series, and I'm dealing with what's the state of the school here at the Camp Ranch campus. And Waterwheels, 38th. Waterwheels is what I'm talking about now. I wanted to say that mill in Roaring Spring that I talked about fondly, that they tore down. Well, when I was first here, permanently here, about 1974, maybe it was 75 at that point, I was craft program director of the Old Bedford Village. It was right when it was opening. And I gave myself the assignment of checking out the Waterwheels in Morrison's Cove, which is right over the mountain. And between, Morrison's Cove is this paradise, it's a wonderland. And between the town, my hometown, Roaring Spring, and Loysburg Gap, which is maybe, I don't know, it might be 15 miles south, I counted 11 different full-size historic water mills. They weren't all running at that time, and now there's only one that has the water. Well, no, there's two, but only one has machinery in it that I know of. Well, maybe more. All right, so I wanted to mention that. All right, now and another thing, a pitchback wheel. I mentioned it, but I didn't tell what it was. Well, it's like an overshot, except that the water is reversed, and instead of going over the front of the wheel, it pitches back by a piece called a launder, and it comes back like this and drives the wheel this way. Why they interest me is because I think in cold weather, it'll hold the water. Well, there's a couple reasons. One reason is it'll hold the water closer to the hillside instead of kind of throwing it out there to freeze into one huge big block of ice. It'll freeze a little slower this way. And the other thing is I can add other sources of water to it, not only at the very top, but I can fairly easily add 2-3 other sources of water. All right, now I'm going to start down the eastern side. And the first spot, Grandpa Jim Biss is a majorly important source of water in the future more than in the past. And when I tap into the natural drain up there, there's a lot of water there in the spring. But I can only carry so much of it across a cliffside because it's a Biss and it really is perched on the side of a cliff. And it'll only carry so much volume. So although I've got I very quickly have a huge drop, and that drop plus the volume is called the head, it would have a huge drop, but it wouldn't have a lot of volume. And so although it would be a prime place, if that's all you were doing, you could build a water wheel there, it would be fun. But that water's too important for irrigation. And so I probably won't be building it. But instead, I'll carry that water all the way out onto the hilltop, the saddle, the aqueduct. Those of you that have followed my videos, you know right where I mean, and run as much water as it possibly can there. But that's the first possibility. There's possibilities. It's almost like there's a book, How Long is the Coast of Britain? It depends how small you divide it up. And you could have a water wheel. You could have water wheels just an inch high everywhere. You know, I'm talking about ones that would be practical, and so that's the first one. The second one is coming on down that I call it the Eastern Creek, and then they're at Jeffrey Weir is the name that I give the next one. And that's where the water starts on the Eastern Aqueduct, and it goes the whole way along that hillside. In this past year, I worked a lot on that, put the pigs in there, I reopened it, I got the water going again the whole way to that old apple tree. If you can remember from watching, I used that as a reference. And right there at the old apple tree, I can drop it if I wanted to, and I might. A little water wheel, sort of more for fun. They're all for fun, really. I could drop it to the apple tree. That would give me about a 6-foot water wheel. Yeah, close to 6. And then just from the apple tree, I can drop it once again, and that would give me probably a 12-foot drop, size wheel, and it would continue to go under the lane. Again, I don't necessarily have a function in mind for this. It's just a prime place. And the other thing too, I should maybe back up and I say the thing about the water wheels, if you're not using them for power, you can use that water for irrigation. You know, it's got two uses. So when you go into the summer and there's not nearly enough water to make it worth it to be running a water wheel, there'd be no power there really to measure. That irrigation water is there though, and it's high, and you just block it off at the sluice at the head race, and irrigate with it going on down through. So the water would go underneath the lane. Does go underneath the lane. There it meets Adam Canal of the Trench Royal that's coming once again from the same natural drain, and it goes the whole way across here over to what a place I called the Blue Water Wheel. If you can remember my videos, I have blue coffee containers tied to the hub of an old hay rake wheel, gravity-driven hay rake wheel. And I've had that turning different times. It makes for about a 5-foot drop. And then it goes to the drain that comes out of the pond, and now I've got more water. I could build a serious water wheel at those last two ones that I talked about. Well, from now on they could be serious water wheels in season, when the water is what they call in spate, when it's really running. I probably hadn't better make this too long, but I've got something like 1, 2, 3, 4 water wheels described so far. Got 6 to go. Bye for now.